With so many of us now in self-isolation or quarantine or lockdown or whatever your situation may be, I thought it might be helpful to have a couple of ways in which we can support ourselves, support each other, and generally make the best of our time in quarantine. So the World Health Organization published some guidance too. They published about 30 different psychosocial points to support people through quarantining or self-isolation or generally being restricted to their home environment for a prolonged period of time. And I think this might be quite important at the moment because there is obviously a higher level of anxiety generally in the population at the moment, and also there's a lot of people who might be experiencing feelings of upset or anxiety due to events being cancelled or plans being changed at the last minute. You know, the Olympics have been postponed, and if you've been training, you know, it's just one example, but imagine training for a year, 2, 3, 4 years for an event only to have it postponed indefinitely. Or imagine training for any show or concert or production only to have it postponed or cancelled. So it can be a little bit disheartening and a little bit challenging. So the first thing to really think about is our connections. And this is so important for so many areas. And even the World Health Organization recommends that we maintain our connections and build relationships and focus on positive relationships in our lives. And this can look different in lots of different situations. It might be that we utilize all the technology that we have available and we contact people more by phone, WhatsApp, group chats. My children Skype call their nana every morning for breakfast, and we WhatsApp video call the cousins, and we use all the technologies that we have. We Google Hangout Granddad, and you know, so we utilize all of the opportunities that we have to stay in touch, and so grandparents don't miss those moments of children growing up, and friends can keep in touch and have a virtual WhatsApp coffee. The amount of times now that I put the kettle on, called a girlfriend, and we've stood in the kitchen drinking our coffee whilst having a video chat. So it's looking for new and innovative and creative ways to stay connected, to stay in touch, and to support each other through these times. Here on this channel, every week I do a live stream for a community chat where we get together for just an hour, grab a cup of tea, usually about 8 o'clock on Thursdays, and we just generally catch up and we chat, and I regale you with interesting and entertaining science stories. So, you know, even though you may not be able to get to the groups that you normally went to or do the things that you used to do, then we can still connect with each other and we can still support each other just in different ways, and it's just about being creative. Practically, it's really important to establish or maintain some kind of routine. And I think this is also quite important for children too. So there's lots of research that shows we are more motivated, productive, effective, and our mental health is better if we have some kind of daily boundaries or some kind of daily routine to stick to. And you can either stick to your existing routine as best as you can, or you could create a new one that reflects your quarantine self-isolation setting. So the World Health Organization recommends that you maintain a similar routine and that you try and stick to a same routine, so the same types of time as getting up, the same sorts of ways in which you would have breakfast and communicate with people, check emails, do work, take lunch, exercise, that kind of thing. And you know, that's fine. If that works, that's great, but I would sort of say maybe don't be too hard on yourself if you can't stick to that routine, because it is a completely different situation and a completely different setup. So I would say, you know, feel open and feel excited about creating a new routine, because I don't know about you, but I've saved 2 hours a day just in travel. So you might find yourself with a couple of extra hours in your day. So maybe you could look at ways in which you could use that time more. I mean, have you ever watched routine videos on YouTube? 5 a.m. routine videos, nighttime routines, self-care, skincare, and thought, gosh, I'd love to do that if I had the time. Well, maybe you find yourself with a couple of extra hours a day that you could maybe start looking at what your ideal routine would be and building that in. So did you ever say, I'd love to wake up in time to do some meditation before my day starts? Or would you like to exercise before breakfast? Or, you know, whatever it is, this is an opportunity to be really creative and to do the things that you've wanted to do but maybe never had the time to do because of school runs or deadlines or commutes, or you need to be somewhere. So think about creative ways that you can improve your life through building more positive routines. And if you'd like a video more in depth on the types of routine that you can create, just let me know in the comments. I will happily do that, because there are a few recommendations from the World Health Organization and from other international mental health charities that I can include in that as well. So building a routine is really important, and sticking to some semblance of a routine. But equally, in the same context, if you don't stick to it completely, don't beat yourself up over it. It's not a big deal. It's just the purpose of it is to get us up, get us motivated, get us moving, get us doing things, and not just sort of feeling paralyzed by, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I've got all this free time. I've never had it before because I've always been so busy at work or with the children or whatever. So this is also an opportunity for us to be much more creative and much more positive, and to do all those things that we have always wanted to do. And a time of solitude can also breed really great creativity. And I guess this is 2 points really. So accepting that we're in this situation and accepting that this could be for 3 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe even 12 weeks if you were one of those people that needed to self-isolate for 12 weeks. So accepting that this is a new way of life for a period of time. And once you do accept that this is a new way of life, then you can start to look forward to ways in which we can be more creative and to look for ways to improve ourselves and to, it sounds cliche, but really get to know ourselves as well. So look at the things that you enjoy doing, exploring things that you maybe never had the time to do before. What types of new music are you interested in? What books can you read? Have you ever tried to play video games before? Maybe now's the time to try that. What about a new talent? Have you ever tried knitting, sewing, playing an instrument? Do you have an old keyboard or a guitar up in the loft that maybe you played years ago and you've never played since? Maybe now is the time, and you can teach your children how to play the guitar, or you could refresh yourself. What about studying? If you caught any of the videos from my brain health series, you know that learning something new is a great way to create BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and that can literally help you to create new brain cells. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe you always wanted to try, I don't know, Pilates or stretching or anything. Maybe you wanted to try dancing. So now is your opportunity to be really creative and do the things that you really want to do. And just to sort of illustrate that with one really quick story that I'm sure by now you've probably heard, but in 1665 there was the Black Death, so the plague. Yersinia pestis came over, infecting a whole load of people in London and causing a great big plague and the Black Death and so on and so forth. And at that point, Cambridge University was closed for 2 years because of the Black Death. And Isaac Newton was an academic at the time, and he had to put his academic career on hold, and he retreated to the country where his family had a country house. And lots of the sort of wealthy kind of academic and business people did retreat from London to the countryside, and he cited those 2 years as his most creative to make that huge impact for future generations. So see this as an opportunity to really be creative and to really explore the things that you want to, and to try and learn something new, and just allow yourself to do those things that we've never been able to do before. This is like an unprecedented situation, once in a generation. We'll probably never have an opportunity like this again. So accepting that this is the situation for the time being, and looking for positive ways to build creativity. And just 2 more really sort of practical ones to finish up. One I would have to say is journaling. So if you're having a tough day, or if you're struggling, or if you're experiencing anxiety or stress, or the news is stressing you out, turn the news off and get yourself a journal and just start journaling. And journaling has been shown to have some really positive impacts on mental health. And when you can express yourself on paper, it often helps you to logically process things that feel a lot more intense than maybe they are when you start exploring them on paper. So I would encourage you to pick up a journal and start journaling. If you want more information on how to journal, I have 101 videos on that on this channel, so I will link a full playlist below for you. But yeah, try journaling. It's really helpful and it's really positive, and it also helps with that creativity as well. So it helps you to really get creative in terms of where you want to go, what you want to be good at, what you want to achieve in life, and all those sorts of things. And it also helps you to set some goals too. So maybe you want to set some goals for the time that you are in self-isolation in your home. And just finally, to live in the present moment as much as possible. So again, if you are worrying or feeling like this is such a huge thing, like a pandemic, it's going to affect the whole world. And, if you start kind of following those thought patterns and it becomes in any way distressing, then just bring it back to today, bring it back to the present moment. Journal if you want to, and focus on what's right in front of you. Focus on where you are, and you can practice some gratitude to sort of bring you back to the moment. And that might be something like just cleaning. There's big links between cleaning your environment and your mental health. So maybe you could focus on cleaning, organising, tidying through old cupboards. Maybe you could look at creating a new meal or a recipe you've never followed before, or spending time with the family, reading or journaling or gardening. Nature therapy, there's a huge scientific evidence base behind being in the garden and working with plants, and the importance of nature therapy. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you found it interesting. I will link the World Health Organization document, and I will link some documents from various NHS mental health trusts about self-isolation, anxiety and other mental health conditions too. So you can read those from evidence-based sources like the NHS and the World Health Organization. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and please do subscribe if you caught this,